But even the Louisville game and like even starting like the first game UAB, the linebackers blitzing, especially late, gets through a lot, and they just shut it all down. The O-line, the tight end, and the running backs all did a great job on blitz pickup. And that's great to see just because it hasn't been there. Even going back to like last year, they just struggle with if guys like do any like gap switching or any stunts or anything, they really struggle to pick that up, and they just got it consistently over and over. And it was made such a difference because it let King get those deep passes off, and that's basically how he had such a huge game.
Definitely. Okay, so moving on to Virginia Tech, I'm not sure how much preparation you've done for this game or how much you've looked at this team as of yet, but right off the bat, they have Hendon Hooker, they have Herbert at the running back position. Bud Foster is gone, thank God. But what jumps out to you right off the bat from about Virginia Tech?
So I've really just kind of looked at their stats and stuff, and the biggest thing is their run game. They have an absolutely insane run game this year, which is like the best run game Virginia Tech's ever had, apparently. So it's obviously the concern. Probably the weakest part of the defense is the linebackers, so that's not something gives you a lot of confidence going into the game. But that's basically going to be the game, is if Miami can slow down the run game.
So I have a few stats right here. So I'm going to give this in relation to the NC State game because, that was close. We almost lost a 3-point win. So on offense, the Virginia Tech offense is the third best in the ACC right now. It'll be, after Clemson, the best offense that we've played. And so they're third, and the NC State offense is 10th, right? So that's why I'm saying I'm expecting 40 points, like maybe even close to 50 from Virginia Tech. That might sound crazy, but like we're not that great on defense. And then when it comes to defense, NC State is dead last. They're 15th, and Virginia Tech is 11th. So just like if we play the same way that we did on Friday, probably an L, honestly. We need to be better. We need to have a better defensive showing. I think it's safe to assume that our offense won't look as amazing because we're not going to play the worst defense in the ACC on Saturday. So I don't know, man. I'm a little bit worried about this game. I really do think that – I'm not saying that that's a loss for us, right? I do think Virginia Tech is going to be around 40 points, if not more, and we're just going to have to compete with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Dude, Jordan, you just depressed like the hell out of me and scared the hell out of me with those stats. But because I did not know NC State's defense was that bad, and I didn't know Virginia Tech's offense was that good. Daniel, in your opinion, who's maybe one or two guys who you need to see either any production at all on offense or just a little bit more production for the Kings?
So if they can keep up what happened last week with in the NC State game, where the wide receivers are catching most of the passes and getting open deep, the running backs have to pick it up because the defenses are going to start adjusting. They're going to start figuring out what Lashley's doing with the tight ends on those play actions, and he's going to figure out how they're going to figure out to cover Harley and Pope and Wiggins. But they have to get Cam going, and I think they need to get Knighton on the edge and in the passing game to kind of start spreading it out a little bit. Because if the defense is focusing on the wide receivers, and the O-line's still not that great, where I don't think even with numbers they're not going to be able to pound it inside. I think getting Knighton on the edges, they do those jet sweeps and those like swing screens. I think that's going to be really helpful and kind of needed if defenses start backing up a little bit on the pass game.
Well, and I don't have the stats in front of me at the moment, but it's pretty clear that Cam Harris has not been, he had a great first 3 games of the season, but has kind of fallen off, to say the least. Why do you think that is? Is it just the offensive line not holding their blocks, or what do you think?
So that first game, he had the huge run on fourth down that went like 70 yards. But down and down, he's never been consistent just because it's not how the offense is going to work. They don't run a lot of different run plays. They hit inside zone off a hurry up a ton, where he's basically going to pick up 2 yards, and if he's lucky, he'll get like 5 or 6. Those plays aren't designed to do a lot down to down. But what's missing is he's not getting the big plays, and I think it's not much on him. There's only so much running backs can do. If the defense wants to put 7 or 8 guys in the box while you're trying to run inside zone. He had a little bit better game against against NC State. He was over 4 yards a carry. He was struggling there for a good while. But you're kind of starting to see it where the defense is getting a little more diverse. It's more players are stepping up, where the box is starting to lighten up a little bit. So he did have a couple good runs where it had been going for 0 or 1 yards, and now he's getting 5 or 6. But really, that's just kind of how it works with Lashley's offense. It's the quarterback's going to be the main runner. I think we kind of saw more where he's going with that, where he just started calling a lot more direct quarterback runs last week that were really effective. And the running backs are just kind of to keep the defense honest. And if they can, they break a big run. So hopefully they can see him break a big run, especially if Virginia Tech's defense is that bad. But it's just the way the offense is set up, it's not really running back friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's.
Sorry, go ahead, Jordan.
Okay, fine. So I actually like that. I like that direction based on our personnel, and I actually think we should lean into it. I think we should establish D'Eriq King setting the tone in the run and pass game first. I think that's going to be the most effective. I mean, he's our best player on offense by quite a good margin. And I think if we're going to have success deep into the season, I think if we're going to get to the Orange Bowl and we're going to, be effective against another really, really good team in the Orange Bowl, I think we're going to need Heisman-type production from D'Eriq King. I said that last week, and I think we should just lean on it even heavier, like establish the run game with King and let all 3 of our running backs be a change of pace guy. I really think that we need to lean on our most talented players if we want this, because we have more holes than – I mean, this is a weird year, right? So anything can happen. But I think if you were to put this Canes team in any other college football season, I think we have more holes than a traditional top 10 team does. And so, I mean, we really need to lean on the guys that are able to produce at a high rate.
Yeah, the thing is, we're not going to have those kind of games from D'Eriq King from week to week, which sucks. But I hear what you're saying, Jordan. Daniel, my last question for you is, 1, give me a score prediction for Saturday, early score prediction, and then 2, do you think this Miami team is a true top 10 team?
So I think you guys are right with the high score. I don't think we're going to stop the run very well. I think you kind of saw a little bit Virginia, what running backs or running quarterbacks can do to the defense. It's always been a weakness for Manny's defenses. So I think it's going to be a lot of running yards from Virginia Tech, probably a lot of passing yards from Miami. So like 34-31 on the low side maybe. But obviously I can see it going higher depending how many big runs Virginia Tech has. So yeah, not too high scoring, but pretty high scoring, and then close game for sure though. What was the second question? Sorry.
Do you in your honest opinion, this year?
I think what you guys are saying was right. Where in a normal season, probably not. There's a lot of holes on the team. Obviously, King and Lashley have boosted it a lot. Getting probably one of the best kickers in the country has helped a lot. But the defense isn't what it's been the last couple of years. The talent isn't there. They've missed a lot on recruiting, especially at linebacker and corner. That's kind of dragged down the defense a little bit. And then the O-line's not there, where a real top team like we saw with Clemson, is gonna beat them. There's just not enough talent on the team right now, I think, to say a top 10 team consistently. But also, that's not what they don't need to be that. Just because it's a weird year with everything going on, and then there was the drop off at the end of Richt, and where Manny's trying to build it back now. If you had told me last year that we'd have an ugly 6-1 team, I'd be ecstatic. So I think they're on the right path. They're not there yet. The talent's not there. Talent probably isn't where it was for the first 2 years where Richt was here. But it's they're doing good, which I'm happy with.
Yeah, I agree, man.
Jordan, do you have any other questions?
No, I'm good. I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. Daniel, thank you so much for coming on, brother. We'll have to get you on again, and I love your input on the timeline as well on Twitter. So keep it up.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Cool. Well, what else do you got for us, Marsh? Marsh?
I don't know. How are you doing? What else is going on?
Dude, how about my Bills yesterday? I mean, they dragged their nuts on the Seahawks' face. That was amazing.
I did not see. I am wrong. I will admit when I'm wrong. I did not see that coming, and I thought for a second that Seattle was going to come back in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. You know,
we're going to blow it, but
can you hear me, Marsh? You're cutting out a little bit.
Oh. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I mean, it's a little crackly, but I can hear you. But
laptop. Okay. Huh. Yeah. My computer keeps saying bad connection for some reason, so.
Yeah. It's okay. But
so we may have to just end it there unless you have any.
Yeah, let's end it there because you keep cutting out mid-sentence, but it was a good show today. And yeah, go Canes, man.
Go Canes. Sorry about my
All good. Go Canes.
This has been the Forza Podcast.